श्रीवाग्भवकूटजातचतुर्वेदस्वरूपिणीं शृङ्गारकमरजोद्भव सकलविश्वव्यापिनीं देवीं शक्तिबीजोद्भव मातृकानशरीरिणीं देवनुत भवरोगहर वैद्यपति हृदय विहारिणीम्. रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना. भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रम् अकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं. व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः. अचतुर्वदनोर्ब्रह्मा द्विबाहुरपरो हरिः अफाललोचनः शम्भुः भगवान् बादरायणः. पाराशर्यवचस्सुधां सुमनसः दुग्धाब्धिमध्योद्धृतां संसाराग्निविदीपन व्यपगत प्राणात्मसञ्जीवनीं पूर्वाचार्यसुरक्षितां बहुमतिं व्याघातदूरस्थिताम् आनीतां तु निजाक्षरैः सुमनसः भौमाः पिबन्त्वन्वहम्. निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवत रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः. श्रुतीनामुत्तरं भागं वेगवत्याश्च दक्षिणं कामात् अधिवसञ्जीयात् कश्चित् अद्भुतकेसरी. तपनेन्दु अग्निनयनः तापानपचिनोतु नः. तापनीयरहस्यानां सारः कामासिका हरिः. आकण्ठमादिपुरुषं कण्ठीरवम् उपरि कुण्ठितारातिं वेगोपकण्ठसङ्गात् विमुक्त वैकुण्ठ बहुमतिमुपासे. बन्धुम् अखिलस्य जन्तोः बन्धुरपर्यङ्क बन्धरमणीयं विषमविलोचनमीडे वेगवती पुलिनकेळि नरसिंहं. स्वस्थानेषु मरुद्गणा नियमयन् स्वाधीन सर्वेन्द्रियः पर्यङ्कस्थिरधारणा प्रकटितः प्रत्यङ्मुखावस्थितिः प्रायेण प्रणिपेदुषं प्रभुरसौ योगं निजं शिक्षयन् कामानातनुता अशेष जगतां कामासिका केसरी विखस्वर नखस्वर रुधिर हिरण्यवक्षस्थली विनर्गळ निरर्गळ रुधिर सिन्धु सन्ध्यायिताः अवन्तु मदनासिका मनुज पञ्चवक्त्रस्य माम् अहं प्रथमिकामितः प्रकटिताः वा बाहवः सटपटलभीषणे सरभस अट्टहासोद्भटे स्फुरत्कृधि परिस्फुटद्भ्रुकुटि केऽपि वक्त्रे कृते कृपाकपटकेसरिन्दनुजडिम्बदत्तस्तना सरोज सदृशादृश व्यतिभिषज्यते व्यज्यते त्वयि रक्षति रक्षकैः किमन्यैः त्वयि च रक्षति रक्षकैः किमन्यैः इति निश्चितधीश्रयामि नित्यं नृहरे वेगवती तटाश्रयं त्वां जानकीकान्तस्मरणम् जानकीकान्तस्मरणम् गोपिका जीवनस्मरणम् नमः सदसे नमः सभायै. With the abundant blessings of Paramatma Shri Pati, all of us have had the saubhagyam to be a part of this satram, this Mahayagyam of Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam. Generally, this Puranam is known to be recited and delineated for a span of 7 days. And the reason given is Parikshit listened to Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gunam, Bhagavata Gunam through a great personality called Suka for 7 days. So it is called Saptaham. Generally, 2 works that are extremely popular for Parayanam and Pravachanam. One is Srimad Ramayanam, which is for 9 days, which is Navaham. Bhagavatam is Saptaham. So Bhagavatam, we use the word Srimad Bhagavatam. Ramayanam is Srimad Ramayanam. Narayaniyam is Sriman Narayaniyam. Mahabharatam is Shri Mahabharatam. These are all beautiful rules that Panini has laid for us. Like how, in simple rules that we have in English, like for example, if it begins with a vowel or with a vowel sound, then you use that an. Similarly, we have rules in Sanskritam as well. For example, Ramayanam, I said, Ramaha plus Ayana Shabdam. Ayana is the path. It is Ayana, na, nalka na. But Panini says, Purva Padat Sanyayam Agaha. That is the rule in Sanskritam. Purva Padat Sanyayam Agaha. If 2 words come together, the first word has Ra, second word has Na. Then when both words come together, the resulting word should not have Na, but should have Na. That's the rule. Ramaha has Ra. Ayana has Na. So it is when it comes together, it cannot be Ramayana. It has to be Ramayana. Because the rule is Ra plus Na will become Na. That is the rule. Purva Padat Sanyayam Agaha. Out of 4,500 aphorisms in Sanskrit grammar by Panini, one rule is this. Purva Padat Sanyayam Agaha. That is why Uttara plus Ayana is Uttarayana. Because Uttara has Ra. Whereas there is one exception to the general rule. To this rule there is an exception. Ramaha is Ram. His brother, younger brother will be referred to the word Anuja. Anuja has Na. When the resulting word has to come, it should be Ramanuja. But no, the resulting word is Ramanuja. So this is the exception to the general rule. See, language is a beauty. Now, that said, in Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam, we have completed 2 days. Too many Charitram circumstances that led to Bhagavatam, Parikshit's birth. In fact, Parikshit's question was very simple. Draunyaster viplushtamidam madangam santanavijam kurupandavanam jugopa kukshim gatiyatta chakraha matuschameya sharanam gatayaha. He wanted to know about the one who protected him, about Krishna Avataram. But Krishna Avataram is told later in Dashamaskandham. So we have that, we have the greatness of Bhagavatam, which is Bhagavata Mahatmyam. Then we have Bhishma Stuti within Bhagavatam. I have not dealt with Bhishma Stuti because that is a beauty. Say there is Bhishma Stuti, there is Kunti Stuti. Then followed by that we have Brahma Stuti, we have Uddhava, Vidura Samvadam. What does Vidura mean? Malati ji said, I will ask questions. I have to check, right? Vidura. Vidura ante emi. Vidura andre yenu. Vidura endral yenna. Vidur ka arth kya hai? Idhukku mele enakku theriyadhu. 3 languages I have covered. Vidura. Try. Say something. Say the word something. Avladhan. Approach. Vidura. Wise. Remember, that is Vidura. Vidura. Dhritarashtra's younger brother Anuja was called Vidura, which means wise. Vidura means widower. The one whose wife is dead, that widower is referred to by the word Vidura. Dhava shabdeti pativachakaha. Dhava in Sanskritam means husband. Dhava. Dhava means husband. Ma in Sanskritam means Mahalakshmi or no. If you don't want to say no, mat karo, ma. That is why I remember in Dhruva Charitram I reminded you of Parvati. Her mother said don't go. Ma, mat. Don't is ma. Ma is don't. At the same time it also means Mahalakshmi. Ma is Mahalakshmi. Dhava is husband. Ma's dhava is Madhava. Vishnu is called Madhava because he is Ma. Mahalakshmi's Dhava, husband. Without the husband, Vidhava. We say Vidhava, right? Without the husband, whose husband is dead, Vidhava. With the one whose wife is dead is Vidhura. Sanskritam is very easy. If you take up the root word, you can keep on deriving all these words. So here, when we deal with Vidura Uddhava Samvadam. So you have to be very careful. You should not say Vidura Uddhava Samvadam. It is Vidura Uddhava Samvadam. Then followed by that we had Varaha Avataram. Varaha Avataram's continuation today we will deal with. Varaha Avataram. Then Kapilopadesham. You remember Devahuti and Kardama Prajapati's son Kapila gave lot of suggestions and advice to his own mother Devahuti. Kapila Devahuti Samvadam. Devahutyai Nyagadihi. Then followed by that, yesterday we had Ajamilopakhyanam, Ambarisha Charitram. Through Ambarisha Charitram, we had the greatness of Ekadashi. Yesterday, you remember Ekadashi Vratam? The beautiful Kshetram of Guruvayur of Krishna and Kerala. Every state will have Krishna. Odisha will have Puri Jagannatha Kshetram, which is Purushottama Kshetram. Andhra will have a kshetram called Tirumala because Tirumala is believed to be the kshetram of Krishna. Kannan adinai yamakku kattum verpu, says Vedanta Deshika. There is a kshetram in Telangana called Mubba, small gramam, known for Krishna. Tamil Nadu has Mannargudi and Triplicane, Tiruvallikeni, known for Krishna. Kerala has Ambalappuzhai and Guruvayur for Krishna. Karnataka has Udupi. Maharashtra has Pandharpur. Gujarat and Rajasthan will have 9 Dwarakas, Navad Dwarakas, Dakur Dwaraka, Mukti Dwaraka, Mula Dwaraka, Sudhama Dwaraka, Gomati Dwaraka, Rukmini Dwaraka, Bed Dwaraka, Nath Dwaraka, Kankroli Dwaraka. You have Dwaraka there. Mathura, Gokulam, Vrindavanam, Uttar Pradesh. Then you have Kurukshetra in Haryana. So there is no place which is bereft of Krishna. Sarvam Krishnamayam Jagat. So in Guruvayur, Ekadashi is a major event. That is why one poet says, Kuruvayurekaadashi toluvan pogumbol Varikattuga Narayana Rubam Harinarayana Rubam Talarumbol Atmavam Pashuve Ninnavil Amridam Boluriduga Narayana Namam Harinarayana Namam. Beautiful Ekadashi Mahatmyam through Ambarisha Charitram. We had Ajamilopakhyanam that reminds us of naming as a procedure. For us in our samskara, there are various samskaras. I told you the first one is where the sperm, mature sperm, fertilizes the egg, ovum. So that is called Garbhodakam. That is one samskara. If by God's grace, Paramatma's grace, Ishvara's grace, they become parents, then around the 3rd month, you perform a samskara called Pumsavanam. Between the 7th and 8th month, around that period, you do Seemantam. I told you that parting ceremony. That is when there is a Sishtachara Parampara where you put bangles. Today we call it baby shower. Baby shower. Baby shower. If I say Pumsavanam, I am conservative. There's a baby shower which is happening. You have to say that with a baritone, Then you seem quiet. So that baby shower will happen. Now there, when this Pumsavanam, this Seemantam is combined with Pumsavanam. We don't do that in the 3rd month, 1st and 8th month later. Because what if we call the priest and he becomes rich by doing 2 ceremonies? We have to curtail his economic status. So we will do it together in the 8th month. Then on the day the child is born, the Ashaucham doesn't begin. See, these are all traditional words I'm using. Shuchi means cleanliness. Ashaucham. You generally don't let people meet the child for the first 11 days. That is called Ashauchakalam. But on the day of the child's birth, there is no Ashaucham. That day you can perform a small Yagyam, which is called Jata Karma. Then 11th day, in case you are a Brahmana, you do the Nama Karma. If you are a Kshatriya, then you do it on the 12th day. So you do the Nama Karma. Then followed by that will be small procedures like Chaulam, Karnabheram, Annaprashanam. We could give Cerelac, right? At Cerelac, you have to do it on one particular day. Then there is, at the end of 1 year, you would have Abdhapurti. So these are all samskaras that we all perform. In that, Nama Karma is very important, where you give a Nama. That Nama, when anybody introduces, you have to introduce yourself to an elderly person. That is when you either use the word Sharma or Varma. If you're a Kshatriya, you'll say Varma. That is why whenever Rama does prostrations to his Acharya, he'll say Rama Varma Namaham Asmi Bhoho. He'll never say Sharma because he's a Kshatriya. So this Nama is very important. Which Nama to give? There are plenty of Namas. We give that Nama. But one of the mystic poets of the Tamil tradition called the Alvar, Periyalvar states, Naranantam Annai Naragam Pugal. The boy who's called Narayana, his mother will not go to hell, it seems. He didn't say that the boy will not go to hell. His mother will not go to hell. Because the boy is called Narayana, but who utters it? Only the mother. Narayana! Narayana! Narayana. So whichever tone she says, she'll get Moksham. Because she is doing the Ucharanam of Bhagavan Nama. So Naranantam Annai Naragam Pugal. Narayana's mother will not go to hell. So we had the greatness attached to simple procedure. Naming of a child through Ajamilopakhyanam. Then we also dealt with Vedanta Jnanam through the Samvada. Samvada is conversation between a Raja called Rahu Guna of Sindhu Sauvira Pradesham and Jada Bharata, who happened to be a person who remembered his previous Janma. Such people are called? Very good. Jati Smaraha. One more question. Remember, you have to remember. See, generally when the teacher used to say in our school, we used to put one cross, dots around it and mark frequently asked important question. So you should mark all this. Jati Smaraha. So, Jada Bharata Charitram we dealt with. All this we have dealt on day 1 and day 2. we concluded with Gajendra Moksha Vrittantam. Gajendra Moksha Vrittantam is, we humans always feel we are the best. This is our assumption. But in Bhagavat Srishti, Bhagavan doesn't see the difference. For him, Gajendra is as important as us. For us, Gajendra is supposed to live only in Mudumalai reserve near Ooty. But for Bhagavan, Gajendra is as important as us. An ant is as important as Brahma. Chimalo, Brahmalo, Shiva Keshava Dulalo, Prema Mide Miragu Chundi Viduva Kunato Mata Sita Ramananu Brovara. Chimalo, Brahmalo, Chima ante, you go towards the ant. Brahmalo, from ant to Brahma, he sees everybody equally. In Lalita Sahasranamam, you get Brahma Kita Janani Varnashrama Vidhayini. Brahma Kita. From a worm to Brahma, she sees everybody equally. So, the greatness attached to Gajendra Moksham is, Gajendra called for help, Bhagavan came. Now, we have one pertinent question. Bhagavan could have protected Gajendra from wherever he was. We say he's there everywhere. Correct? Then why should he personally come from Vaikuntha? The moment we say that he came from Vaikuntha, then it disproves the very fact that Bhagavan is omniscient. If he is omniscient, he has to come that moment. He should not take one vehicle, take from point A to point B, Autobahn, he should not come through Autobahn, right? He should come there itself. So how can he come? Because he has to bless the elephant which has been assuming that he lives only in Vaikuntha. See, we should understand the knowledge level of the recipient. For example, I have been giving a lecture on Bhagavatam now. You are all very learned. If even Shukabramam has doubts, you will all clear it. So, at your level, I am speaking. Tomorrow, if I am put to a Montessori, I have to reach to those students. I say, Varnashrama Vidhayini. That boy will be wondering, who is this fool? So I have to reach their level. Similarly, when Bhagavan appeared on Garuda, he had to reach the level of the elephant. The elephant has been told by its grandfather and grandmother that the one who sits on Garuda is Paramatma. If Bhagavan comes without Garuda, the Gajendra will not agree. Oh, you have got Shankha Chakra but no Garuda, so you are not Paramatma. So Bhagavan had to suffice all the conditions which the elephant had preconditioned his mind with. Because the same Bhagavan holds all the luminary bodies in their places. Dhyauscha Chandrarka Nakshatraha Khandisho Bhurmaho Dadihi Vasudevasya Viryena Vidhrutani Mahatmanaha, we say. All of them are in their places because Bhagavan holds a remote, it seems. Then why couldn't he protect from Vaikuntha? Because he wanted to satisfy the elephant. See, there is a beautiful anecdote associated with Gajendra Moksha Vrittantam. Later, when people developed this interest to know the quintessence of our scriptures in their regional languages, not everybody is proficient in Sanskritam as a bhasha. Telugu bhasha is beautiful. Tamil is beautiful. Tamilukkum amudendru peranda Tamil inba Tamil engal uyirukkum mel Tamilukku nilavendru per. Beautiful language. If you speak that Tamil with the stress on ra, it is beautiful. So, this Tamil is very honey-filled. People inba ten vandu paayadu kaadinile. It seems it looks as if you put Dabur honey in your ears. I don't know the brand here, whatever brand. Now, similarly, Telugu, Sundara Teluginil Pattisaitu, Krishna Devaraya, Rachinchina Oka, Mahakavyam, Amuktamaliyada. Amuktamaliyada Kavyamlo Oka Pankti undi. Desha Bhasa Landalaku Telugu lessa. The most beautiful of all languages is Telugu, he says. So Telugu is beautiful. Kasturi Kannada. Right? Kannada is as fragrant as Kasturi. So Kasturi. Malayalam is very, very ramyam to the ears and to the tongue. Hindi, every language is beautiful. Now what to do? Potana, he wanted to give the essence of Bhagavatam in the Telugu language. So he went to a Kshetram called Onti Metta. Beautiful Rama temple. If you go to that temple, you'll be amazed by the architecture. So he sat before Rama with the grace of Ramachandra. He started writing Bhagavatam in the Telugu language. It is called Andhra Bhagavatam. So while he wrote this Andhra Bhagavatam in the Telugu language, while he was writing the Gajendra Moksha Vrittantam, it was not an exact translation. It is his own Anubhavam in the Telugu language. Gajendra called for help. This is where he was writing. When the Gajendra said, Adi Moolame, Adi Bijaya, Adi Avyaktaya, Narayana, it reached the ears of Narayana in Vaikuntha. Next verse, he had to describe Vaikuntham. But Potana has not been to Vaikuntham. How will he describe Vaikuntham? See, if you have not been to a place, how will you know about that place? So he was very confused what to do. So he left the manuscript as is and went away. In a few minutes, he came back and wrote something and again went away. This was noticed by his daughter. Later again he came back and said, take the manuscript. The daughter said, how many times will you come and go? He said, no, I just went away once. So then they realized that the person who had come in his disguise intermittently was not him. So then they took the manuscript and saw the description of Vaikuntham was there. Ala Vaikunthapurammulo nagarilo na saudambuda palamandara kusuma saraf prantendu kanto palotpala paryankarama vinodi edagu vikhvala nagendramu pahi pahi ani guyya linchi samrambhiyai. Bhagavan, because he is a Vaikunthavasi, Bhagavan knows how Vaikuntham is, so he wrote, Ala Vaikuntha Purammulo Nagarilo Nasaudambudapala Mandara Kusuma Vanantara Saraf Prantendu Kantopalotpala Paryankarama Vinodi Edagu Vikhvala Nagendramu Pahi Pahiyani Guyalinchi Samrambhiyai. He describes. So this Potana Bhagavatam is beautiful. There is another anecdote. After writing this Gajendra Moksha Vrittantam, Potana went and showed the king. I told you in those days, kings had that time to relish and cherish literature. They were all well read. So, Potana Bhagavatam was taken. The ruling king, monarch then, took this and said, very nice, but I have a doubt. If Gajendra is suffering, Bhagavan could have deployed Chakram from Vaikuntham itself. He could have just said, Chakra, Jao, Sudarshan, Jao, he could have said. Right. Why did he have to come personally? This I am not in agreement with, the king said. Potana said, see, this is how Bhagavatam states. Bhagavatam states that Bhagavan sat on Garuda and came to that particular place where the elephant was suffering with the attack on the crocodile on it. This is what it says. But I am not in agreement, said the monarch. Why should the king personally come? He could have sent Chakra and said, hit and push. You know, hit and push? Pottu thallu. Great. He could have said, you do, Chakra, tum jao, I will give you 200 rupees. So he could have said that. But why did he personally come? So after, Potana wanted to teach a proper lesson to the king. So Potana, along with a few Sainikas, the Raja and his Rajaputra were on a boat across Godavari. Potana pushed this young boy of the Rajakumara of the Raja into the waters. Godavari is very deep. Without thinking twice, the king jumped into the waters, rescued his son, brought him back to the boat and said, arrest Potana immediately under BNS 8.2 section. Section, arrest karo. That is when Potana said, you arrest me, but do you know why I did this? How dare you pushed my son? Okay, I pushed your son, but why did you jump? You could have asked your soldiers to jump. No, he is my son, so I personally jumped. Similarly, Gajendra is Bhagavan's child, so he came personally. What problem do you have if he comes personally? He didn't deploy Chakra, right? That is when Potana was rewarded. So, all these Vrittantams have an association with Gajendra Moksham. That's said. Now Parikshit, again Parikshit will ask questions. He was Prashna Chakravarti. He had done PhD in asking questions. Some people have that habit. They will keep on asking questions. They will never listen. So, Samapriya Suhrid Brahman Bhutanam Bhagavan Swayam Indrasyarthe Katam Daityan Avadhid Vishamo Yata Tasya Prabhavamatulam Vishno Bhakti Mato Mune Shrotumichami Yasyaitam Charitam Deepta Tejasaha Samapriya Suhrid Brahman. Parikshit has a question. He says, scriptures say, oh dear Shukabram, that all of the creations are treated by Bhagavan equally. Samapriyaha. Everybody is treated equally. Krishna too says, he says, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu. I treat everyone equally, whether you live in Frankfurt or Westmambalam or Venezuela. It doesn't matter to me. You are all equal. This is what Bhagavan says. But we have differences. We have differences in skin color. Some will be fair, some will be dark. I'm mix of Moolavar and Utsavar. Brown. Some will look yellow. Skin color we have. That is why even while saying thanks in WhatsApp also, that also gives a skin color. Correct? There is a difference in skin color. There is a difference in height. Some people will be tall. Some people will be short. Some people will be obese. Some people will be thin. So we have differences. Then how do you say Bhagavan is equal to all? Point number 1. Samaha Priyaha Suhir Brahman. Then Shuka said, Parikshit, come to the point. What do you mean by this and what do you want to imply? That is when Parikshit said, see, I have heard from sources. He is in the media field. So I have heard from sources that Bhagavan, who says I'm equal to all, I treat everyone equally, managed to protect a little great devotee called as Prahlada and tore open Hiranyakashipu on the other side. He tore open Hiranyakashipu on one side and protected Prahlada. Isn't there a disparity in the treatment? He should have corrected. Hiranyakashipu idhar aao, aisa mat karo. Sorry bolo Prahlad se. Sorry bol. Theek hai. He should have done that. Why did he tear? This is wrong. He's being very cruel. This is violence. We completely condemn such violence. All this he asked. He's the Vokeshwara of those days. Vokeshwara, Vokanayaka, Vokapujita. He's that. Indrasyarthe katham daitya navadhi dvishamo yatha. So he asked, how did Bhagavan not treat Hiranyakashipu equally? We will go to some organization, human rights. We'll complain. That is when, see, who's that guy? Stephen Covey, who gave us the 7 habits of highly effective people. Third habit is listen first to understand and then be understood. First, you have to listen patiently. Patience is a virtue. I'm sure at least parents who are here will agree that that is lacking in the current generation. Nobody knows patience. Few seconds, if they have to stand extra in that security line in the airport, somebody will say how long it will take. They will start abusing the security agencies. That when we don't have patience, how will you even get moksham? Because moksham is a wait. It is a waiting period. When you don't have patience, how will you wait for moksham? Patience. That patience is lacking in us. So, listen first to understand. When Vali threw a volley of questions, Vali threw a volley. I have become T. Gajendra. So, Vali threw a volley of questions at Rama. How dare you do this? The fight is between me and my brother Sugriva. You as a foreign entity should not write op-ed articles about our democracy. All this he said. Rama listened to all of this patiently. Then he said, Vali, are you done? Can I answer? So you should always wait for the other person to speak. So here, Shuka Brahmam let Parikshit speak. When Parikshit said Bhagavan shows disparity, he shouldn't have done this with Hiranyakashipu. He listened. Your question is done. Can I speak? First of all, how do you convince the person with the answer when he's asking a question? First, you have to praise that question. When someone asks a question, you should say, very good question. Then that person will keep quiet for some time. This is an art. எப்போமே யாராவது கேள்வி கேட்டாங்க, எப்படி கேள்வி கேட்கிறீங்கப்பா, பிரமாதமா யாரும் இது யோசிச்சதே கிடையாது, பிரகஸ்பதியா இருக்கே. See, in Tamil, Brihaspati has 2 meanings. One is Guru. Second one is a person who lacks common sense. Nammathu Brihaspati na puriyadunu artham. So whenever, see, learn this art. Parents, I'm giving you one easy tip. When your child asks a question, first tell, very good question. The child will feel very proud. And after that, whatever answer you give, the child will never listen. Because the child is floating. What is that? Cloud 9. So he said, very good question, Parikshit. your same question was asked by your grandfather's eldest brother. Who is his grandfather? Arjuna's eldest brother, Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira asked the same question long back. When did this happen? Now we'll have to go back to Mahabharata's time period. I told you, remember day 1. One particular Vanam called Kandavam was given to the Pandavas. With the help of Arjuna and Krishna, they were able to burn that forest that was filled with snakes, infested with shrubs, other poisonous trees, and then were able to establish their capital called Kandavaprastham, renamed as Indraprastham. So it was a norm in those days for Kshatriyas, when they establish a capital, they have to prove their sovereign power by doing a yajna called Rajasuyam. Rajasuyam is where you go around in the neighboring kingdoms, either make alliances with them. Say that, okay, we will have trade, you have to sign one MOU, you have to hold that for 10 seconds for the media, you have to have alliances. Alliances were also through marriages. Or you will have to fight that person and annex that kingdom. So this can happen. As this was happening on one side, he went to Magadha Desham, other areas. Thereby Pandavas were fairly able to establish their sovereign power without hurting many kingdoms. That is the greatness of Yudhishthira. So at the end, the culmination of the Rajasuya Yajnam, he performed a Grihava Pravesham. Griha Pravesham is housewarming. Like baby shower, we have to warm the house. Now that is the time, right? It is cold. So housewarming. So for this housewarming ceremony in Indraprastha, Duryodhana, his next brother Dushyasana, their uncle called Shakuni, the prince of Gandhara Desham, Karna, all of these people came from Hastinapura to attend this Rajasuya Yajna. Krishna also came with Balarama. This Rajasuya Yajna was being conducted. At that point in time, there was a question as to who should be accorded the respect, the reverences first. In most villages, this will become a huge judicial issue. Mudal Maryadai Yarukku. Right? So who should be given the first respect? So people unanimously said, let us give the overlived person of our times, called as Bhishma, that respect. While Bhishma was to be accorded that first respect, he said, see, sorry, I may be older to all of you by age, but not by wisdom. There is only one person who deserves all the respect, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishna is amidst us. When he is the shining star here, who are we? So give respects to Krishna. Pandavas were extremely happy for them. Krishna was everything. So immediately Sahadeva said, Theek hai. He took that thali with that kumkumam and all of that, and went to Krishna and said, Krishna, I will do pada prakshenam for you. I will do padyam, arghyam, padyam, achamaniyam. I will do all of these respects to you. Well, this was being conducted. Somebody rose from their seat and said, stop this. This is a crime. He is an abactor, a cattle thief. He has been lying in his childhood, dancing with the women in the middle of the night and calling it Rasa Krida. And this person, does he deserve all the respect? Everybody's heads turned. It was Krishna's other cousin called Shishupala. He was the prince of a province called Chedi Desham. So he was called Chaidya. His father was Damagosha. That is why Rukmini says, Damagosha Sutadayonye. So he, like how Pandavas were related to Krishna, so was Sishupala. See, English is a beautiful bhasha. It is very Advaita in approach. There is only one word called auntie. Father's elder sister, father's younger sister, father's brother's wife, father's younger brother's wife, mother's brother, mother's sister's husband, everybody's uncle. So there is no second word. It's Advaita in approach. Whereas in Bharatiya Bhasha, you have Atta is different from Chitti. Chitti is different from Perima. So they were all Krishna's Attai children. Father's sister's children. One sister was Pritha called Kunti. So Kunti's sons were Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna. You can add Madri's sons as well, Nakula, Sahadeva. On the other hand, the other aunt's son was Sishupala. So Sishupala said, to this person who has been lying in his childhood, who has been showing all his magical powers and calling himself a great dharmic person, why should you accord the first respect? He started abusing, reprimanding Krishna. So much so that Duryodhana felt bad. Duryodhana ke aur main aisa ipdi tittapada sir, bahut zyada ho raha hai, you are exceeding your limit. At the end of the day, Duryodhana and Krishna were related. Duryodhana's daughter was married to Krishna's son. Do you know that? No, you didn't know. Okay. Right. So, Krishna had a wife called Jambavati. Through the grace of Shambhu, Mahadeva, they had a son. So he was called Shambha. Shambha married the daughter of Duryodhana, Lakshana. Some words say Lakshmana. These two were married. So Krishna and Duryodhana were sambandhis. Krishna couldn't say it openly. Duryodhana sambandhina manam poidum. Only people who did Google search will find that out. And Krishna, are you related to Duryodhana? Oh, yes. That's all. So that is why with this right only Duryodhana comes and asks for Krishna's help in Mahabharata Yuddham. He says, you are my sambandhi, help me. So, Duryodhana felt very bad. Shishupal, aisa mat bol, bahut zyada ho raha hai. Even Shakuni started feeling bad. So, he abused Krishna so much. But Krishna was just giving a very nice smile and just listening and doing this. Balarama said, you shameless brother of mine, he is abusing you. What are you counting? He said, see, I had promised his mother that per day I will listen to 100 abuses. One day's quota is 100 abuses. He has just finished one quarter. He is basically from Tamil Nadu. So he likes. So he has finished. He'll be finishing a few abuses. I'll wait. 99th abuse came. The 100th abuse was touched. Sishupala's head was floating in mid-air. Sudarshana had done its duty. And his body fell on the ground. Now that entire scene, Grahapravesham, had become a crime scene. Immediately the agencies came, they took that chalk piece and outside that body they drew that border. They took some samples to check which weapon would have done. Forensics came. Now all this happened. After lots of struggle, Pandavas had this capital. And that too on the day of Grahapravesham, all this happened. When everybody had left, Yudhishthira had a conversation with Narada Maharshi. He said, sir, what is this? Is this Grahapravesham or some crime scene? What has happened to my house? By the way, Narada Maharshi, I have one question for you. What, Yudhishthir? Krishna is so loving with us. He showers love on us. On the other hand, he kills Shishupala. One side he showers love on us, and on the other side he kills Shishupala. Why this difference in treatment? This is why Suka told Parikshit, a similar question was asked by your grandfather's eldest brother. To which Parikshit asks, understood Suka, what did Narada tell my Yudhishthira? Gopyaha kamad bhayat kamsaha. I told you on day 1 that I will deal with this question on day 3. You remember? Gopyaha kamad bhayat kamsaha dveshat chaidyodayo nripaha sambandhat vrishnaya snehat yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. There are multiple ways for a person from point B to reach point A. Even when you ask the Vaikuntaloka Manimantapa Margadai, you know Vaikuntaloka Manimantapa Margadai? GPS. See, We are so used to GPS. I don't know whether you use GPS or Waze, whichever you use. For Vaikuntham as well, the Jivatma has to use that. We are so used to GPS that even when the Jivatma exits our Sthula Shariram, we have to use GPS. So this GPS will show multiple ways. If you have seen, I am giving my experience in Bharatadesham. It will show you one way which is blue in color. In Bharatadesham, we get, do you have this color coding here? When there is no traffic, it is blue. Neela toyata madhyastha vidyulleke vabhaswara. But if there are some prapti virodhi in the middle, then it will become red. If it is between that prapti virodhi and without the virodhi, it becomes one amber, yellow color. Udikkindra sengadir uchittilagam unarvudayor madikkindra manikam madulam podu, says Abhirama Vattar. So you have various ways to reach point B. So Narada Maharshi says there are various ways to reach Krishna, Yudhishthira. Gopyaha kamat. Gopika Stris reached Krishna through kamam, love. Bhayat kamsaha. Kamsa reached through fear. Dveshat chaidyaha. This Chedi Desha Raja Shishupala through disgust. He will keep on hating Krishna. Krishna does this, Krishna does that. He is a thief. He lies. Krishna does this, Krishna does that. But Krishna takes this as Nama Sankirtana. See, he is calling my name. Many of them in Tamil Nadu will reach through this way. Ramar idai chaida, Ramar adai chaida, Ramar. But Rama will give them Moksham. Because you have taken my name. Right. Now, Dveshat chaidyodayo nripaha sambandhat vrishnaya sneha yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. For us, for you and me, the only way is bhakti. So don't see what is the effect now. See what is the final destination. All of them will reach Bhagavan. So while he mentioned this, the Charitram of Prahlada begins. How with Kashyapa's other son Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu in his Sabha Mantapam sees the mutilated body of Hiranyaksha come. Because you remember day 1, Varaha killed Hiranyaksha. That body is reaching today only. It needs so many 24 plus hours to reach. So that body reached the Sabha Mantapam of Hiranyakashipu. Immediately, Hiranyaksha's wife called Rusha Bhanu and their mother called as Diti Devi, they started crying over the dead body of Hiranyaksha. They said, we have lost such a great antisocial element. Who else will trouble us from now on? Huh? So they all started crying. That is when a voice was heard. It said, like how a worm moves from one leaf to the other, so does the Jivatma go from one material body to the other. Atma is Nityam, Shariram is Anityam. Though they live together, one is permanent, eternal, the other one isn't. So do not cry. Who? Hiranyakashipu spoke these words. Yeshatma viparyaso yallinge linga bhavana yesha priya apriya iryogo viyogaha karma samsritihi sambhavasascha vinashascha shokascha vividhasmritaha avivekascha chintacha viveka smritirevacha. These are all words of Hiranyakashipu. You'll be wondering, Hiranyakashipu, sir, he was very learned. He was the son of Kashyapa Prajapati, very learned. But why did he become different? See, Hiranyakashipu is like us. Whenever we listen to Prahlada Charitram, it is human mentality that we always want to associate ourselves with Prahlada. We are nowhere close to that boy's devotion. What bhakti he had. His father was throwing him into blazing fire and asked, will you agree that I am Paramatma and Narayana isn't? He said, no, Narayana is Paramatma. If he had asked me, I would have said, no, you are only Paramatma. Why will I fall into fire? Right? That is our bhakti. The boy was served with a vial full of poison. He said, Narayana is Paramatma. Give me poison. Will we ever consume? Let us be practical. We are nowhere close to Prahlada's bhakti, that maturity, that jnanam, that love, that compassion that boy had. We are nowhere close to him. I can't speak for all of you. I am very close to Hiranyakashipu. Kadavul padi, mrugam padi, kalandu seida kalavai naan. எங்க எல்டாம்ஸ் ரோட்காரர் சொல்றார், உள்ளே மிருகம் வெளியே கடவுள் விடையில்லா புதிர்னான். நான் தான். So we are all very close to Hiranyakashipu. Why? See, we are all an admixture of sattva, rajo, tamo gunam. You see, in a lecture, I give lecture, in fact 250 lectures I give every year. Practically 1 or 2 out of 3 days I give lecture. I keep traveling. First thing is I see astikas like all of you every day. First half an hour, 45 minutes, audience will have sattva gunam. இதெல்லாம் தலையாட்டுவா, கண்ணெல்லாம் கண்மை. Next half an hour they will show their, this man is in drinking water for 2 hours. He goes on and on and on and on. When will he stop? Rajogunam will come. Last half an hour, when you know that I'm incorrigible, irreversible and irreparable, Tamogunam. See, we all have all these gunas. We should be very honest and practical. We are nowhere close to Prahlada. Prahlada is at another level. When we see his devotion, what are we before that little boy? Trailokyameta dakhilam Narasimha garbham. What devotion he had. Where are we? So here, Hiranyakashipu was very learned. See, for us, generally, whenever we think of asuras, we will always remember that Onida advertisement. You remember in that Onida advertisement, there will be 2 horns, there will be Damshtra. See, he was a son of a Brahmana, Kashyapa's son. He was a normal person. In iconography, we give all these things reminding us of Rakshasas. He was a normal looking person, but his thoughts were asuric. That's all. So this Hiranyakashipu, he went and advised his sister-in-law Rushabhanu and mother called Diti Devi. He gives lots of stories. He said, in a country called Ushinara, there was a king called Suyagnya. All this is there in Bhagavatam. In a country called Ushinara, there was a Raja called Suyagnya. While this Suyagnya had died in a certain battle, his wife and children cried. That time, Yamadeva appeared as a little boy and told them a story. See, you should see the various levels of narration. As such, it is a narration of Parikshit was told by Suka. Within that, there is a narration, sub-narration of Hiranyakashipu talking to his sister-in-law and mother. Within that, there is a story of a king called Suyagnya of Ushinara. Within that, Yamadeva appeared as a little boy and advised that lady who was lamenting over the death of her husband called Suyagnya, that there was a hunter who went on a hunting spree and threw the net over a section of birds. In the birds, there was a male and a female, where the female was caught and the male was lamenting outside. In a few minutes, the net was rethrown and the male bird was also caught. Do you understand? He asked. They understood. We didn't. The point is, I will come to this explanation by explaining one small aspect of Yaksha Prashnam. In Mahabharata, towards the end of Vanaparva, when they all wanted water to drink, they saw Sarasa Pakshis and Yudhishthira said, go fetch waters. One brother did not return. In search of that brother, another brother went. So 4 brothers went away, they didn't return. So Yudhishthira went, he was very thirsty, he took those waters. Meanwhile, an ethereal voice said, answer my questions and drink water. Yudhishthira said, whoever you are, ask questions. 124 questions that person asked to drink 100 ml of water. I would have relinquished. I would have said, no, to hell with you and gone. But Yudhishthira answered all those 124 questions right. There was negative marking. Yet he answered. He answered all those questions. You know what was the last question? Kim ascharyaha? What is the question? Kim ascharyaha? What is surprising? Open-ended question. What is surprising? You know what Yudhishthira said? You know what is surprising in this world, Yaksha? We have moved with various kinds of people around us. One of them dies. We go to that house to offer condolences. We offer those condolences in such a way, with such a tone and tenor, as if we are permanent. என்ன இருந்தாலும் இப்படி ஆயிருக்கப்படாது. Very sorry. We are next in the list. In a few months or years, we will be gone. But the way we give those condolences will be in such a way that we are permanent and that person alone was temporary. We are also there next in the list. Yamadeva will send his Chitragupta next on us. So this kind of attitude is surprising to me. Similarly, Yamadeva as a little boy said, one bird lamented that the other bird is caught in the net. But in a few minutes from then, this bird was caught, which means death will always catch upon anyone and everyone. Within that time period, how you use your knowledge and time to extract the essence of the scriptures is what makes the difference. Adi Shankara lived for 32 years. By then, Asetu Himachalam, he walked, create the commentary for the Brahma Sutras, commentary of the Bhagavad Gita, commentary of the Upanishads, Viveka, Chudamani, so many stotras, mathas. 32 years. We are still clueless in 32 what to do. He had finished his job and he has gone. That is the greatness of an Acharya. Now all this advice was given by Hiranyakashipu to Diti Devi and Rishabhanu. Then what did he do? Then the next half an hour came. First Sattvagunam. Then he said, Kute hite Vishnu, but my brother was killed by that Narayana. I will ensure that I use that vendetta. I shall give it back to that Vishnu. And he left his sadhana palace. While he was leaving, Kayadhu came, his wife came and said, Sir, see this 2 red lines, I am pregnant. He immediately congratulated. Congratulations, Kayadhu. I will go on an on-site project. I will come back soon. So take care. Meanwhile, world is small. Let's keep meeting. All these parting messages he gave and he left. He left the palace and went towards performing tapasya towards Brahma. Brahma and Shiva, as per our Puranas, are referred to as Ashutoshi. Ashutoshi means people who get impressed very easily. Shiva is very merciful towards his devotees. Very, very simple. Whereas when you take up all the anecdotes related to Narayana, it will take a lot of time to impress upon him. Shiva, Brahma or Ashutoshi. Brahma, he performed austerities, tapasya towards Brahma. Finally, after such intense austerities, Brahma appeared on his Hamsavahanam. And he said, Hiranyakashipu, I am quite impressed with your austerities. What do you want? He said, I have to be immortal. Brahma said, see, Atma is eternal. Shariram is anityam. Whoever it is, the time period will vary. Maybe a tortoise can live for 100, 120 years. A dog can live for 10 to 15 years. The body time duration will vary. But at the end of the day, you have to shed your material body, whoever you are. If you are a human, Shatamanam Bhavati Shata Yav Purushaha, around 100 years you can survive. But if you are a very sweet person, your hypertension is there, all this, it may reduce that 100. That's all. So at the end of the day, there is a time limit for everybody. That said, I can't grant you immortality. Hiranyakashipu, please understand, I am myself not immortal. Brahma is a position. It will keep changing. If you do 1000 Ashwamedhas, you become Brahma. If you do 100 Ashwamedhas, you become Indra. So Indra position used to be weighted. People used to do 100 Ashwamedhas to become the next Indra. They used to do 1000 Ashwamedhas to become the next Brahma. Brahma is one manufacturing head. That is his position. So you have this qualification, you will become next Brahma. So he said, I am myself not permanent. Where will I give you permanence? Ask your boon in a different way. So this is when Hiranyakashipu was decent in engineering. In engineering, how many of you are engineers here? My deepest condolences. No. So in engineering, there is one course called as optimization. So they'll give you constraints and you have to optimize. You'll have to come with an alternative there. So he said, instead of asking for immortality, I will ask in a different way. I should neither be killed during the day nor during the night. I should neither be killed outside my house nor inside my house. I should neither be killed in space nor on earth. I should neither be killed by a human nor an animal. I should neither be killed by an object that is animate nor inanimate. Brahma started sweating. What kind of boons are these? What are you asking? This is close to immortality. Nantar bahir divanaktam anyasya chayudhaihi na bhumau nambare mrutyur na narair na mrigairapi vyasubhirva sumidbhirva sura sura mahoragaihi apratidvandvatam yuddhe aikapatyam cha dehinam sarvesham lokapalanam mahimanam yathatmanah tapo yoga prabhavanam yannarishyati karhichit. He said, what do I do, Hiranyakashipu? Or kuch bacha hai kya? You have asked every possibility. That is when Hiranyakashipu said, Yadi dasyasya bhimatan varan me varadottama bhutebhyastvad bhisrishtebhyaha mrutyurma bhun mama prabho. Brahma, if you are impressed by my austerities, grant me the boon. This was his last boon. I should not be killed by anything or anybody that falls under the ambit of your creation. You should have not created. Brahma took a sigh, because he himself has been created by someone. His creator will not fall under the ambit of his creation, right? So, Hiranyakashipu was of the assumption that Brahma is the universal set, which is wrong. Brahma was set A, which is subset to the universal set. So there was a complement left there. He didn't realize that. So he was very happy. On the other hand, Kayadhu, who was pregnant, we have to go back to Kayadhu. Kayadhu, who was pregnant, one day, Indra, in the disguise of a person seeking alms, reached their palace. He said, Bhavati bhiksham dehi mate. You have to give bhiksha. It was a common practice in those days that brahmacharis and sannyasis will go for bhiksha vandanam. They will ask for bhiksha. Brahmacharis and sannyasis have to be served with cooked rice. You have to cook that rice and serve. A grihastha who's married when he goes for bhiksha has to be served raw rice, uncooked rice. Because only a grihastha is allowed to do austerities or samskaras related to fire. A sannyasi can neither cook for himself nor can do yajna. A brahmachari cannot do yajna but samita danam. Brahmachari can perform only samita danam. He cannot cook. He should not cook. A grihastha can cook. A grihastha should do yajnam. All of this. So it was a practice. So this Indra in the form of a grihastha went asking for bhiksha. So she wanted to, Kayadhu, a very kind lady, she wanted to bless him with whatever she had. Meanwhile, he turned into Indra. He took one small kerchief, put some chloroform something, put her near her nose. She fainted. You know this typical kidnap scene. So he placed her in the Airavata elephant and started taking her towards his Amaravati Patnam. Now Naidu is building one. So he took Kayadhu there. Narada on the way spotted this lady and said, Indra, this doesn't look like Shachi Devi. Who is this auntie? That is when he said, no, this is Mrs. Hiranyakashipu. Why have you brought Mrs. Hiranyakashipu? I have kidnapped her. Why did you kidnap? See, there are so many cases against you, Indra. Already there are 4-5 FIRs. Ahalya has filed one, Rishabhanatha has filed one, Agnidra has filed one. 4 horses you have kidnapped, misbehaved with Ahalya. Why extra case? Why do you want to give more cases to Harish Salve? Why have you done this? So that is when Indra said, see, she is pregnant. So what? She is carrying the fetus of Hiranyakashipu. So what? Father is bad. The child should also be bad. Indra, that way your father was good. So, Vedanta Deshika uses this in Shatadushani, his Vada Grantham, and says, never ever judge a child based on their parents. Don't get judgmental. It is the child's karma, it is the child's garbhavasana, it is the child's brought up that will determine the child's nature and not essentially the parents. Narada said, this is wrong, Indra. You should not do this. Instead, give me the responsibility. I will take her to my ashramam. Like how later in Srimad Ramayanam, Valmiki nurses, nourishes and nurtures Sita, the Garbhavati, in his ashramam, and thereby she gives birth to Lava and Kusha. Yamevaratrim Shatrughnaha Parnashalam Samavishat Tamevaratrim Sitapi Prasuta Darakadvayam. So she gives birth to Lava and Kusha in Valmiki's ashramam. Maithilyam papavacha Shiva Shiva Kelatam Garbhinim Abhyahasihi, says Narayana Bhattatri in Srimad Narayaniyam. So similarly, Narada Maharshi escorted the pregnant Kayadhu to his ashramam. He said, Kayadhu, you have reached my ashramam, ma. My hermitage will not have the best of facilities. It doesn't have that suite and all of that. Normal rooms only we have. So you please take the studio apartment. You live here. Whatever cuisine you want, you tell. We will try making that. Whether you want nachos or whether you want, pasta. You want with cheese, extra cheese, whatever you want, you tell. So every day, whatever possible, he used to serve food to Kayadhu. And after that, he used to give Upanyasams, pravachanams like this. That is a disaster. After dinner, you should never listen to Upanyasam. It should be before. Because as such, when you listen to a lecture itself, it may give you that little dash of sleep. Now you have food and then listen, it is going to be a disaster. So she used to sleep. This is where we have a Sishtachara Parampara that says, Bhagavatam doesn't state. It says that while she used to begin listening and then used to doze off, the Garbham inside her used to keep listening. See, this is where we have one moral for us. Jnana Vidhi doesn't have to begin at a certain age. It has to begin while it is a fetus itself. If there are young couples here who are planning for children, if there are elderly people here who have their children who are either in their family way or listening should begin at that stage. There is no use of wasting all our life and then suddenly like in a Rip Van Winkle, who's a Rip Van Winkle, right? He suddenly rises and then you get Jnanam and then you realize, oh, Brihadaranyaka, oh, Ishavasya, oh, Chandogya Upanishad. No, it has to begin while you are in the Garbham itself. Garbha Shriman. So I'll tell you one thing. Shastram says one particular line. Jayamanami Purusham Yampashyen Madhusudanaha Satvikaha Satuvigneyaha Savai Mokshartha Chintakaha is a Purana Vachanam which says that only a person who has listened to one aspect of Bhagavan while they were inside their mother's womb will be having the bhagyam to listen to Ramayanam or Bhagavatam later. Trust me, while each of you were inside your mother's garbham, somewhere your mother would have listened to Bhagavatam or Ramayanam. That is why you have come here. That is why I have come here. Else it is not possible, says Puranam. Jayamanam hi purusham. While we were inside the mother's garbham, if you talk to your mother, you ask, she may say yes. One particular day, there was a matham next to our house. There was one person giving pravachanam. That time I went and listened. I have heard Bhagavatam. There would have been a connection. Else we could not have been here. That Garbha Shriman we are called. Karuvile Thiruviladir Kalattai Kalikinnire, says Tondaradipodi Alvar in another scenario. We are all Garbha Shriman. So this child listened to Bhagavad Gunam while he was inside his mother Kayadu's Garbham through Narada Maharshi. Naram Dadati iti Naradaha. Why is he called Narada? Naram Dadati. The one who bestows knowledge to the people whom he speaks to is called Narada. Varanarada Narayana Smarana Nanda Nubhava Mugala Varanarada Narayana Smarana. Narada, he used to tell Bhagavad Gunam. The child used to listen. The fetus used to listen, it seems. The mother used to sleep. So Shishtachara Parampara says, Bhagavatam doesn't tell us, but Shishtacharam, we also believe in hearsay, in Dharma. That the child used to say more, speak more. So every day he used to listen, and that is when the Upadesham of Ashtaksharam happened. Om iti vyaharet, Namaha iti paschat, Narayanayet yuparishtat, Om ityekaksharam, Namaha iti dve akshare, Narayanayeti panchaksharani, says Upanishad. Pranavam is ekaksharam. It has got 3 syllables, but is ekaksharam. Namaha iti dve akshare. You have got Namaha. Narayana. Then you have got Aya Shabdam. Sir, why aren't you telling that mantra openly? Because Gayatri Mantram, all these mantras should not be told in the mic openly. Even when you say Pranavam, if you have Upadesham, you have to say within. The opposite person should not be able to even guess what mantram you're telling with the lip movement. You should, wrong. You should never do. No, sir, in many meditation techniques they do. What do I do? I can tell you what is there in the book. This is what my acharyas have told. That is my duty. No, sir, we are used to telling it in the mic. Tell. I won't stop. See, there is nothing called a monitoring body in Sanatana Dharma. You do, you Agnya Acheri Mama Drohi. That's all Bhagavan says. Yat Shastra Vidhimutsrijyam Vartate Kamakarataha Nasasiddhim Avapnoti. See, Arjuna, I will tell you what is there in the scriptures. Whoever wants to follow, let them follow. That's all. You are not supposed to tell a mantra openly. This constant, in some houses you will have one small machine. It will keep on telling the same mantra 24/7. Don't have all of that. Stotras you can listen. You want to listen to Bhaja Govindam, you want to listen to Haigriva Stotram, Vishnu Sahasranamam, all that is fine. But mantra alone you should not. Gayatri mantra is good mantra, but you should not tell it openly. As simple as that. So that is why Periyalvar, the great mystic saint and the foster father of Andal, tells in Tirupallandu, Nadum Nagaramum Nangariya Namo Narayana Vendru. He doesn't use the word Pranavam there. He just says Namo Narayana. He doesn't use Pranava because Pranavam should not be told openly. So Narayana Namam has such greatness attached to it. Yesterday we dealt with Ajamila Upakhyanam. Purandaradasa says, Kashtadallirali Utkrishtadarli Yeshtadaru Mati Kettirali Krishna Krishna Vembo Sishtaru Beduva Ashtakshara Mahamantrada Namava Narayana Ninna Namada Smaraneya Saramritavu Yenanalige Barali Narayana. So this Narayana Namam, Kayadhu was, whether she was listening or not, that little fetus was listening. Finally, on one particular day, there was Nama Sankirtanam. Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana. You have to join for Nama Sankirtanam. Now, see, first quality of doing Nama Sankirtanam is there should be no inhibition in telling that Nama. You should not look left and right and who's telling it first, whether they are telling it loudly. Then gone. That Nama Sankirtanam is gone. You should tell, you should realize Bhagavad Gunam and tell. Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana. Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana. Narayana Hari, Narayana. Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana. Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana. Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana. Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana. Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana. Narayana 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 Narayana. That moment the child was born with the fragrance of Narayana Namam, adding glory and happiness to his mother. The boy who adds happiness, Ahladam. Ahladam means happiness. Since he increases, like a catalyst that increases the pace of a reaction, he was called Prahlada. So Prahlada was the name who increases that happiness. So Prahlada was born. How was he? The Tamil poet Kamban says, Ayavantanakku oru magan arinyarku arinyan. தூயவர் என்பவர் யானினும் மறையினும் தூயான் நாயகன் தனிஞானி நல்ல ரத்துக்கு நாதன் தாயின் மண்ணுயிர்க்கு அன்பினன் உளன் பொறுத்தக்கோன். Very intelligent. Sir, he is just born. How do you say his intelligence? விளையும் பயிர் முளையிலே தெரியும். See, when Tulasi is born, you don't have to find if this Tulasi, because Tulasim Gandhavati, you can decide Tulasi with her smell. You don't have to say this is camphor, because there is a smell associated with it. Prahlada was just beaming with radiance and wisdom. And this Prahlada was under the guardianship of Narada Maharshi. This is when Hiranyakashipu came back from his tapas fully armed. He realized that his Patni is in Narada Maharishi's ashramam. He went there. She said what all had happened. Then Narada was called and Hiranyakashipu appreciated. Narada Maharishi, I am very happy with your services. Today I am going to give you a title. Narada felt, wow, my times have become so bad that I have to get a title from you. For us also, Upanyasakas like us, Pravachanakartas like us, they'll give some title. Upanyasa Kesari, Upanyasa Upma. Some title they'll give. So, Tilakam, Vachaspati, all these titles we get. So, Narada was to be given a title. Narada was appreciated. He took his wife Kayadhu and his putra Prahlada to his Sabha Mantapam. This boy was called, barely 2 or 3 years of age. This boy was called and said, my dear boy, tell me what you know best. Whatever you know, you say. You see, keep on watching WhatsApp, right? You tell me whatever you have learnt. Shasta Vishnuraseshasya Jagado Yo Hridi Sthitaha Tameva Paramatmanam Tatah Kahkena Shasyate Shasta Vishnu. Father, I know one fact. Ase Vishnu Aseshasya. Whoever commands me from the within is the same one who commands you from the within. His name is Vishnu. You are reading bad WhatsApp messages, my son. I should not give you the phone from now on. I have to put you to the right school. He called the sons of Shukracharya called Shanda and Amarka. Shanda and Amarka were called and they were told, my son wishes to study under you. For them it was a big deal. Prestige, right? Raja's son is studying under them. That is when he said, teach him that I am Paramatma. They said, sir, there is no course material. To tell that you are Paramatma, there should be course material. Only we have other materials which says who is Paramatma, not you. You design something and teach. So this boy was taken to the ashramam by Shanda and Amarka. Morning 7 a.m. was the first class. But the two acharyas listened to a certain delineation at 4 a.m. in the morning. The acharyas were confused. 4 a.m. what am I listening? Now there is rain. Right? Bhagavan is showering his mercy, Varuna Devata. So, but what am I listening? 93.4 FM, they went outside. Kinkini gidayarpa kadal chilambu galagalaka mannidai vaikunta tappandarum kaatchidane kandadoru kalipodu பண்பாடி கொண்டார் கரம் குவித்து மெய் உருகி என் திசையும் எதிரொலிக்க ஓம் நமோ நாராயணா. So this boy was teaching the other boys who is Narayana, what are his qualities, what does Vedam say, Jnana Bala Ishwarya Virya Shakti Tejas Bhagava Itirinam. Then Anna means there is no bad quality. All this Prahlada was teaching the other boys. The other boys said, he's a very good teacher, draw. Super teacher, da. Ivar don da nama teacher. Namma Shanda Amarka waste da. This is a good teacher, da. So Shanda and Amarka wanted to teach this boy. Rather, this boy was converting the other boys. So they said it is a big danger to hold this boy any further in the ashramam. Took this boy and said, Hiranyakashipu, your son is a disaster. So you have your son. Hiranyakashipu asked one good question which parents, all of them should know. What did you learn at school? Father asked. If parents ask this question, it is helpful. The boy said, Papa, I learnt 9 gunas of bhakti. Shravanam. Keep listening. Many of them complain, sir, when we listen to discourses, we are able to remember everything. When we stop listening, it just vanishes. That is why you should keep listening. Only when you stop listening, it vanishes. Then keep listening. Shravanam. Whatever you have listened, you have to speak it out of your mouth. Kirtanam. Vishnu smaranam. Thinking about Bhagavan. Padasevanam. During the Rajasuya Yajna, Krishna himself took this responsibility of doing the Padyam to the Vedic priests. Padasevanam. Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. Archana. When we go to a general Agama-based temple, they do Archana. If you go to a typical South Indian temple, the priest will come and ask, Archana, what should I do? Then there will be an Archana. We won't even listen. What is that line? Friends, Romans and countrymen, lend me your ears. We will never lend. That priest will be doing some Archana. We will be searching for the money in our purse that time. Why do we do Archana? Because Bhagavad Gunam is so beautiful that we aren't able to appreciate those Gunams at that moment. See, at times what will happen in life is, at that moment you should get that Spuranam. It should come to you. Later when people have gone, I wanted to tell you this, somehow I forgot, we say, right? That should not happen. When we go to a temple, we have to praise Bhagavan. When we don't know how to praise, we outsource that to the priest. We tell him, on our behalf you praise. Prakrityai namaha, vikrityai namaha, vidyayai namaha, sarvabhuta hita pradayai namaha, shraddhayai namaha, paramatmikayai namaha, vachai namaha, padmalayai namaha, padmasundaryai namaha, padmodbhavayai namaha, padmamukhyai namaha, padmanabha priyayai namaha, padmamalyadharayai namaha, devye namaha, divyagandhinyai namaha, punyagandhayai namaha, suprasannayai namaha. The priest should do it with such dedication, and we should also listen to that with dedication. Archanam. Vandanam. Anjalim Paramamudra Kshipram Deva Prasadini. What is this? Anjali. Oriyali, Rendali, Moonali, Nalali. Anjali. Why is this Anjali? Because Jalayatiti Anjali. That is, when you put this mudra before the opposite person, saying, sir, please come, it is as if you're doing a submission, sharanagati to him. So the opposite person who's standing opposite us will now feel so humbled, so honored, that it seems looking at we doing this mudra, the opposite person will start shedding tears on his cheeks. Since this mudra makes the opposite person shed tears, it is called jalayati iti anjali. So, anjalim. See, there is a beautiful anecdote in Sri Mahabharatam. Narakasura had a son. Narakasura was killed by Krishna. Narakasura had a son called Bhagadatta. Bhagadatta took his entire tribe westward, stayed there for some time, and when Duryodhana called him for assistance during the Mahabharata Yuddham, he came along with his entire retinue. He was fighting opposite the Pandavas. There was one particular ghattam in Mahabharatam where he does an astra prayogam called Narayanastram. That is the ultimate of all weapons. And there is no pratyastram to it. Pratyastram is, if I shower Agneyastram, you will do Varunastram. This is the pratyastram. For Narayanastram, there is no pratyastram. So Arjuna was baffled. He asked Krishna, Krishna, help me, that person is shooting Narayanastram. What is the pratyastram? Krishna said, it is such a waste of giving Bhagavad Gita Upadesham to you. I could have chosen somebody in Frankfurt. All through the 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita, what have I been telling? There is no one equal to me. Only if there is an equal to me, will there be an equal to my astram. When there is no one equal to me, there is no equal to my astram. Then what do I do, Krishna? Put your palms together and submit yourself to the astram. The astram will do no harm to you. So Arjuna sheds all his kavacha kundalam and all his astras. When Narayana astram comes, he puts his palms together. The astram does not hurt him. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. To be subservient to Bhagavan. See, this is where the modern world comes. We are all independent. Absolutely, we are not dependent. What independent? Huh? When the yuddham happens, the oil prices increase. Gas prices increase. Where are we all independent and dependent? We are all dependent on each other. Husband is dependent on the wife is dependent on the husband, the children are dependent on the parents. What is wrong in agreeing to that dependence? A qualification and earning money does not make you independent. We are dependent on so many sources. Imagine if the supply chain of this world is stopped for 1 week, we will all die. Certain countries buy milk, certain countries buy grains, certain countries buy vegetables. Imagine no ship is moving. We will all die. We are all dependent. When we are dependent for simple commodities such as milk and vegetables, for moksham we are dependent on Bhagavan. So dasyam, we are subservient to him. Sakhyam, just because we are subservient, it doesn't mean he's some superior person having one rod and hitting us. Sakhyam, we are friends. Atma Nivedanam, submitting the Atma. This is what I learnt, my dear father. That's all. Hiranyakashipu got angry. He said, there is no use in putting you to such a good school. Waste. I have to teach you a lesson. Agree that I am Paramatma. No, father. Paramatma is within you and he is within me as well. You are not Paramatma. The boy had the audacity to stand before the tyrant king and say this. When he said this, the father wanted to put him to various tests. Sashulaira viddaha. He said, let this boy be tortured through weapons. Sashulaira viddaha. Subahu mathito diggajaganaihi. He was put to the elephants. The elephants were given all the steroids and they were made to say, go trample that boy. This boy had one thing to tell this elephant. Oh elephant, you are coming to kill me. But remember, I am housing that Bhagavan within me who protected your great-grandfather called Gajendra. if you kill me, then you will be ungrateful to your own ancestor. That elephant took one reverse gear and went back. Subahumathito diggajaganaihi mahasarpairdashtopyanashanagara vidhutaha. He was put to snakes. He was not given food. Apyanashana garahara vidhutaha. Girindra vakshiptopyaha paramatmannayi vibho. He was pushed from a boulder. Even then, he said, Narayana will protect me. Bhuma Devi came and protected. Tvayi nyastyatmatvat kimati na nipidama bhajata. Bhagavan can protect you from anywhere. I'll give you one real instance. My grandfather used to be serving the State Bank of India. He was put on a tenure of 5 years to a place called Shivakasi, that is found in Tamil Nadu, famous for fireworks. Around the same period, there was an MLA called Vijayalakshmi. She was an MLA. I don't know if you've grown up here, you may not know. Somebody related in a political position. That's all, MLA. So a flight carrying from Thoothukudi airport to Chennai on its way crashed. People fell. People died. She, along with her seat, fell into a lake. I'm talking 30, 40 years back. Then she was able to release herself from that seat. Limping, she walked on the highway and reached the police station and said that this crash has happened. From such a height she fell and she escaped. See, this is where you don't know how Paramatma's anugraham will work. So this boy escaped everything. Garahara vidhutaha. Girindra vakshiptapyaha paramatmannai vibho tvainyasthyatmatvat kimati nanapidama bhajata. Everything he escaped. This father called his son, come here. I have been trying to kill you. Every time you escape, you little 2 feet boy. How do you escape? Who is protecting you? Tell me. Pita, the one who's protecting you is protecting me. Don't give all these general jnana to me. Tell me where that person is. Papa, I've been trying to tell you, he's there everywhere. Everywhere is where? Everywhere, Appa. You've been asking me, where is Hari? He is present in that letter W, that H, that E. There is not a single thing that escapes his attention or his presence. Trilokyameta dakilam Narasimha garbham. One of the acharyas comments, only when this boy spoke about Bhagavan's omniscience and sarva vyapakatvam did Bhagavan himself realize that he is omniscient, it seems. He said, Lakshmi, he says that omniscient, is it true? Yes, yes, Narayan, आप सभी जगह हो. पता नहीं था आपको? मुझे पता नहीं था. जब तक प्रहलाद नहीं बोला, मुझे पता नहीं था. त्रैलोक्यमेतद अखिलम नरसिंह गर्भम. Now, Bhagavan had lots of things to suffice, condition, because one of his devotees called Brahma has given boons. He has to tick every condition that he has given. If he doesn't, then Brahma, nobody will respect Brahma. People will say, Brahma will give boons, nothing will happen, sir. So he has to, it's like a warranty, guarantee. He has to suffice those conditions. This is when Bhattatri asks in Srimad Narayaniyam, 400 years back, while he was writing the essence of Bhagavatam as Narayaniyam, Bhattatri wondered for a minute. How does Bhagavatam so courageously say that a little boy of such young age, 5 years, had the courage to stand up against his father and say Bhagavan is there? Could this have happened? He wondered. He closed his eyes. That is when he closed his eyes, he saw that the Garbhagraham of Guruvayur had vanished and it had become a pillar. Hiranyakashipu was taking the sword from his cupboard and was running towards that pillar with a mace in the other hand. Are kwasau kwasau sakala jagadatma haririti prabhinti sme stambham chalita karavalo diti sutaha ataf paschad vishno nahivatidu minshosmi sahasa kripatman vishvatman pavanapuravasin mridayamam. And then he took his mace and struck the pillar which opened like a dicotyledon. Stambhe ghattayato Hiranyakashipu karnau sama churnayan aghurna jagadanda kunda kuharo ghorastava bhudravaha shutva yam kila daitya raja hridaye purvakadapyashrutam kampa kaschana sampapata daitosma ambhoja bhuvishtarat came a form which the world had never seen. Mimam samanasya samuthito grato nisummarupastadalam bhayanakam pratapta chamikara chandalochanam spuratkata kesara jhrumbitananam karaladamshram karavala chanchala spuranti jikvam brukuti mukolbanam stabdhodvakarnam girikandharadbhuta vyatattanasam hanubheda bhishanam bhukandam varanandam paravara damba damporu dampam dim 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 didimbam daham apidhamai jampa jampaischa jampaihi tulyas 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 dhuma dhuma dhumakai kunkumankai kumankaihi etatte purnayuktam aharakarahara patumam Narasimha shankam chakram chachapam parashumashamishum shulapashankushastram vajram khetam kalamusalagada kantamatyugradamstram jwala kesham trinetram haramusalagadam harakeyura bhusham vande pratyeka roopam parapadanivasav patumam Narasimha nasagram peenagandam parabalamathanam baddakeyuraharam raudram damshtakaralam amita gunagadam koti suryagni netram gambhiryam pingalaksham bhrukutida vimukam shodashad ardhabahum vande bhimattahasam tribhuvana vijayah patumam Narasimha jam 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 jakaram jasha jasha jashitam janudesham jam jakaram hum hakaram haritagahasa yam dishe vambakaram vam 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 vakaram vadanalidetatam vama paksham supaksham lam 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 lakaram laguvana vijayah patumam Narasimha sata patala bhishane sarabasa attaha sodbate spurat kriti parisputat brukutikepi vaktre krite kripa kapatake sarindarujadimbadatastana saroja sadrushadrusha vyatibhishajjate vyajjate jumped a form of Narasimha. Above the neck was beyond the realm of our understanding in science and logic was this Paramatma Swarupam. Above the torso of Adi Purusha was the head of a Simha. It was a unique combination, two species of two kingdoms of two phylums coming together. It had to suffice the condition that it neither has to be a human nor that of an animal. Bhagavan could have had the tiger's head as well, right? Why did he choose a lion's head? Because before Bhagavan had emerged, Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu asked, is there a lion that is going to protect you? Immediately Bhagavan customized that form to a lion. Because he had to prove his devotee right. It had to be a lion. It had to be an Adi Purusha. He came at that point in time, which is a transitional phase after the Dwadashi Tithi, from day to the night. It is called Pradosha Samayam. Pradosham is a transitional phase. Whenever we deal in organic chemistry, there is an SN2 mechanism. When the carbon leaves the hydrogen and takes a halogen up, it is called the transition phase, which is neither phase 1 nor phase 2. Here, he had to do the transition. It is Pradosham. Pradosham is neither treated as day nor night. So he came to the second condition. He dragged Hiranyakashipu all the way to the doorstep. Doorstep is neither inside the house nor outside the house. In Bharatadesham, when they sell apartments, when they have to do the cost calculation, they will include the doorstep. But when we sell in the total carpet area, the doorstep will not come. So it is neither inside nor outside. So he sat on the doorstep. He then put Hiranyakashipu on his lap, which is neither technically Akasham nor Bhumi. He used his nails, which is neither animate nor inanimate, because nails are a conglomerate of dead cells, but the cuticle portion. The cuticle alone is the living portion. Everything that pushes is dead cells. So it is inanimate in nature. That is why, though it is attached to your body, when you chop the nails, you don't feel the pain. Yet it is animate because as you cut, it still grows, which is an attribute of the living. So he used those nails, which is neither animate nor inanimate. Like the metalloids, which combine the properties of both metals and non-metals, it has the animate and inanimate within. So he sufficed all these conditions, being Narasimha, lap, on the doorstep, in Pradosha Samayam, using the nails, he tore open Hiranya. Bhagavan was, through his long fingers and nails, hunting for something within Hiranyakashipu. The commentator asks, what did he search? Bhagavan thought, it is this body which has produced a gem called Prahlada. Is there some other gem-like devotee hidden within this body? He searched. He tore open at that point in time. At the same point, it is called Aghatita Ghatana Samarthyam. Bringing two things at one go. See, generally parents, if you're all parents, you will realize when you're in a good mood and your child keeps troubling you, you will say, I'm in a good mood. Don't make me angry, please. Kanna, just stay away from me. So you're happy and you can't get angry at that moment. Imagine you're angry. If someone tries to crack a joke, enough. Give me some time. So when anger and mercy can't exist together is our thought. When Bhagavan was tearing Hiranyakashipu, there was anger. But through his eyes, he was showering mercy on Prahlada, it seems. So mercy and anger went at the same time. Aghatita Ghatana Samarthyam. He showered Saroja Sadrisha Drisha. Tore open. Then he called Prahlada and asked, my dear Prahlada, ask for any boon. Had Bhagavan appeared in front of me and asked me this, I would have had a list. Wait sir, 1 minute ठहरो ना, वो list को निकालो, वो वाला, वो folder निकालो, हाँ, first boon number 1. I would have asked from boon number 1, it would have gone. Prahlada asked, see, my father was very cruel towards me. I agree. But at the end of the day, he is my father. Pitrudevo bhava says Shastra. My father may have not, you cannot justify his actions, whatever he did on me, but he is my father. I have never ever had disgust or disdain on my father. I have forgiven him. Bhagavan, you too should forgive my father. Don't treat him as a pariah. Don't excommunicate him. He is also your son. Forgive him. Bhagavan said, fine, I forgive your father. Ask a boon for yourself, my dear son. Prahlada said, see, when Sarvalokeshwara Paramatma, Shriyapati, Narayana, Narasimha, you have appeared in front of me. And you are telling me, Prahlada, ask for a boon. As an ideal devotee, what I should have done? I should have said, Bhagavan, seeing you itself is a great boon. I should not ask for anything. Rather, I was so shameless. The moment you said ask for a boon, I asked, forgive my father. So I've asked for something. I was shameless. And now out of your generosity, your magnanimity, your greatness, you are giving me an added boon. Grant me that boon, Bhagavan. In case you appear in the future in front of me and say, Prahlada, ask for a boon. I should say, Bhagavan, I should never ever ask for a boon. Seeing you itself is a boon. Give me that wisdom that makes me not ask anything from you. The greatest of devotees. What devotion that little boy had. Can we even get closer to that boy's wisdom? When the word boon comes, immediately we have lot of things to ask. That boy said, I should never ever ask anything. What devotion that boy had. Bhagavata Mauni Varashashi Vibhakara Sanaka Sanandana Digisha Surakim Purusha Kanakakashipu Suta Narada Tumburu Pavanasunu Balachandradhara Shuka Saroja Bababusura Varulu Paramapavanulu Ganulu Shashvatulu Kamala Baba Suda Musatanu Baba Mugakayanda Do Manu Bavulu Paramabhagavata Mauni Varashashi Vibhakara Sanaka Sanandano Digisha Surakim Purusha Kanakakashipu Suta Narada Tumburu Pavanasunu Balachandradhara Shuka Saroja Bababusura Varulu Paramapavanulu Ghanulu Shashvatulu Kamala Baba Sukamusada No Baba Mukakayandato Manu. Tyagaraja says, what devotees we have had. What examples, what trendsetters we have had. That great Prahlada, he was asked, that is when Bhagavan as Narasimha appeared. Now there is a small thing that I would like to, it's not tough. Bhagavad Ramanuja handles this very intellectually in his commentary to Brahma Sutras called Sri Bhashya. See, if we have to categorize, you know what is that word? Compartmentalize as per Six Sigma. If we have to compartmentalize the world, we have three compartments. One is Ishvara, compartment A. Ishvara means Paramatma. Second bucket is Chetana. Third bucket is Achetana. So technically, Jivatma is Chetana because it is the substratum to knowledge. It is the base for knowledge called Dharma Bhuta Jnanam. This body, the body that we all possess, is Achetana. Because if the Jivatma goes, nobody will value this body. See, I love my grandmother. She is the one who nourished me. After the Atma was gone, will I keep her body in the showcase? Immediately I'll go burn that and bring party in one bottle. Horlicks bottle I'll bring. That's all. This is our love. So what we loved is that combination of Jivatma and Shariram, and not only Shariram. So this Shariram is Achetanam. Jivatma is Chetanam. So there are many Jivatmas here. All these Jivatmas, Chetana Vastus, are Bhagavan's possession. So that is bucket B. Bucket C is Achetanam. Achetanam is our body. Achetanam is this desk. Achetanam is this mic. All of this. This is all Achetanam. But the difference between this mic and my body is, my body gets activated when the Jivatma is present within it. But here the Jivatma cannot activate this mic, then the mic will be walking. Correct? The mic can't walk because the Jiva, is there a Jivatma here? It is there. Jivatma is attached in its periphery. It has not pervaded. See, remember this Vedantic statement. Whenever there is a form and a name to an object, a Jivatma has to be there. Then it cannot exist. But the Jivatma is not activated. It is in the periphery. Whereas the Jivatma within us is within the Shariram, so the Shariram is activated. So you've got the Jivatma, which is the Chetana Vastu. Everything else is Achetana. 1000 years back, there was a big debate. 175 years before Cambridge was born. In Bharatadesham, there was a debate. If a Chetana gives rise to a Chetana, you have to understand this very carefully. If your concentration goes this way, that way, you cannot understand. So, from the mother, my mother, I have come. My mother has an Achetana body and a Chetana Jivatma within it. She has given rise to me, which is also the combination of Jivatma and Shariram, which is Achetana. So, a Chetana has given rise to another Chetana. My mother's Chetana has given rise to the Chetana in me. And Achetana can give rise to an Achetana. Imagine this is plastic. I'm just telling you for example. It need not be plastic. It could be iron. But I'm just telling you plastic. Plastic is Achetanam. Achetanam plastic has been molded to this form, which is an Achetanam. So Achetana gives rise to Achetana. My mother's Jivatma with the body has given rise to me with a Chetana in my body. So this is the formula. But when we see Paramatma, who is Paramatma? Is he Chetana or Achetana? He is Paramachetana. Paramachetana is Super Chetana, like Surf Excel. He is Paramachetana. That Paramachetana has given rise to both Jivatma and Achetana. So, till now is it understandable? You have to be very careful here. Now, if the formula is Chetana gives rise to a Chetana and Achetana gives rise to an Achetana, a group of people who were Tarkins, Tarkikas means who always debate based on logic. They went and asked Ramanuja, if Chetana gives rise to a Chetana, Achetana gives rise to Achetana, how does Bhagavan, who's Parama Chetana, give rise to both Chetana and Achetana? Isn't this an exception? Isn't this not, it is logically untenable, they said. That is when Ramanuja gives two examples. he says, look at the nails. Nails that emerge from our body, hair that emerges from our body, comes from the Achetana, body. But it has the property of Chetana because it keeps growing. Then he gives another example of a scorpion. See, in our living beings, we classify as oviparous and viviparous. Oviparous is where the little one comes from the egg. From, let's take birds. Birds, they don't give rise to the chicks immediately. From the bird comes the egg. Egg gets incubated and then comes the chick. So there is a two-stage process. So they are oviparous. We are all viviparous. We come from our mother's garbham directly. But scorpion is ovoviviparous. The little one is within the egg. That egg does not come out of the mother. It stays within the mother. So it is ovoviviparous. So this mother scorpion needs that egg to be incubated. But that egg has not come out of her body. So she needs heat. So what this mother scorpion would generally do is it will go search for heat. So technically in old Bharatiya houses, in the backyard there will be a cow shed. And if you have seen a cow shed, every now and then that cow will keep on putting dung. It will not, you cannot say, oh cow, 6 o'clock ho gaya na, kyun kar rahe? Every half an hour there will be dung. And when the dung comes, it will be hot. So the mother scorpion will strategically position herself in a place where that hot dung will come. So the hot dung will pour on that mother scorpion. So to an onlooker, the onlooker may not realize that the mother scorpion has positioned herself there. The dung is Achetana. After that Achetana has incubated the mother, in a few seconds you will see that little scorpion come out of that dung. So the example is Achetana dung gives rise to a Chetana scorpion. Chetana body gives rise to the Achetana hair. So because we have a Chetana within. So when you see such examples, why can't you understand that Paramatma also can give rise to Chetana, Achetana? For that he gives the example of Narasimha, because the pillar is Achetana. Narasimha is Chetana. Narasimha who's Chetana uses his nails, which is Achetana. So Achetana giving rise to a Chetana, who gives rise to an Achetana, is seen here. Is what debates used to happen 1000 years back, when how to suffice and satisfy the Tarkikas. The next aspect. Brahma used to lament to Narayana, it seems. See, everybody goes to their grandparents' house for vacation. Main kidhar jaun? Because Narayanat Brahma jayate. From Narayana's Nabhi came Brahma. So Brahma is technically the son of Narayana. But Narayana doesn't have a cause. So Narayana doesn't have parents. So where will Brahma go for vacations? So that is when he said, that is when Bhagavan, he emerged out of the pillar, right? In Sanskritam, the pillar is referred to as Sthuna. Sthuna in Sanskritam is the Strilinga Vachaka Shabdam, feminine gender. Sthuna, Uma, Rama. So Sthuna means pillar. So Sthuna is technically a lady. So Narasimha emerged out of the pillar. So Brahma was happy that pillar became his grandmother. Sthuna Pitamahya Bhoot, says the Acharya. So Narasimha Avataram has been experienced in various levels. You go to different kshetrams. You begin in Tamil Nadu. I'm going in a certain order. You go to a place called Thiruvallikeni, Triplicane in Chennai. There is a Sannidhi for Narasimha called Telliya Shingam. You go to a hillock called as Sholingar, Cholasimhapuram, Mikkanai, Marayai Virinda, Vilakkai, Ennul, Pukkanai, Pugalsher, Poliginna, Ponmalayai, Takkanai, Tadigai, Kundrin, Mishayirunda, Akkarakkaniyai, Adainduinda Ponene. He is there in Cholasimhapuram. Today, who sang that Narasimha Magacha? They have gone? Party to Peta Polarku. So, Narasimha, at 6:15 they sang this song today. Narasimha Magacha Shweta Pucha. This is the Kirtana by Muthuswami Dikshitar on this temple. So this Cholasimhapuram temple only, he wrote this particular song. So if you go near Shirgadi, there is a kshetram called Tiruvali, Narasimha. You go to a place called Namakkal. That particular temple is very close to the minds and hearts of Srinivasa Ramanujam, the great mathematician. He says that all my mathematical questions and queries were solved by Mahalakshmi of this temple. So Namakkal, Narasimha Kshetram. You go to Thiruvananthapuram. Before you enter the Garbhagraham of Anantapadmanabha, there is a Ugra Narasimha there. You go to Karnataka, Melakote, Tirunarayanapura, there is Narasimha. You go to Andhra, every street will have Narasimha. Antarvedi, Godavari Kshetram, Narasimha. Jwala Ahobilamalo, Lakroda, Karanja Bhargavaha, Yogananda, Chatravata, Pavano, Namamurteya, Ahobila Kshetram, Narasimha. Kadiri, Narasimha. Vadapalli, Narasimha. Ketavaram, Narasimha. Simhachalam, Varaha, Narasimha. Yadagiri Gutta, Narasimha. Hey, so many Narasimhas. You go to Gujarat, there is one particular place I have not visited. My Acharya used to say 64 hands for Narasimha there. And there is a beautiful Narasimha Kshetram in Germany. We have Simhachalam there. So Narasimha, Trailokyame Tadakhilam, Narasimha Garbham. So Narasimha is found everywhere. What is the greatness of Narasimha? See, while answering questions in entrance exams, I don't know if you have coaching classes here. There we used to have coaching classes. There used to be a principle called KISS principle. K-I-S-S. Keep it simple and short. So whenever they give you a question, you have to give the answer very quickly. Either if you know the answer, tick the answer, or do an answer by rejection method. These three can't be the answer, so this should be the answer. So these were the ways we used to solve. Rama Avataram, Bhagavan was born. He suffered. He went to Lanka, constructed a setu, retrieved his wife. Lot of problems. Krishna Avataram, same thing. He was born in one place, grew up in another place. For a short period of time, he was N Krishna. Later, he became V Krishna. Right? His father was told that, no, Vasudev hai aapke pita, Nandagopal beach mein the, go to the government office, change your name in the certificate and come. He went. The moment his son Pradyumna was born, day 6, he was kidnapped. Lot of problems. So Rama Avataram, Krishna Avataram, extremely beautiful, but they suffered. The only one who came for a short period of time, created an impact and went away was Narasimha. 1.5 hours, he finished. Nobody questions. That's all. Pottu tali avada pattu kalametar. Krishna Rama alla vaarande adu kashtapattu adipattu. See, political people who question Rama and Krishna, they will always question, why did Rama have to abandon Sita? That hurts me. Sita was pregnant. She was a single mother. I can't take it. Why did Rama do that? They will question Rama. Krishna, they'll question, why did he dance? Why did he lie? Why did he steal? All these questions. Does anyone question Narasimha? He'll tear. Why? So, you need a tough administrator. Then only people will listen. If you're very democratic, please ask. People will keep questioning you. You need one person who shows you. Right? November 8th, he'll come and say, from today onwards, 500 will not operate. That's all. We need such kind of people who will... Narasimha Avataram is that kind of Avataram. He knows how to deal. 1.5 hours today, Narasimha Avataram, that's all. Next 2-3 days, Krishna Avataram, there will be Duryodhana, Dushasana. Had Narasimha been there, Mahabharata Yuddham itself would have not happened. All of them would have been told. But Narasimha is that kind of a short and sweet Avataram. Arthitartha Paridara Dikshitaha. Whatever we ask, he will give. Legitimately. See, our karma should be strong enough and it should facilitate. If Bhagavan gives, he knows what he gives. If he doesn't give, he knows the reason why he is not giving. Tvai rakshati rakshakaihi kimanyaihi. Tvai cha arakshati rakshakaihi kimanyaihi. See, Vedanta Deshika gives one rule. Narasimha, when you have vowed to protect me, I don't have to go to others. You protect me. I don't have to go to any devata. When you have vowed not to protect me, there is no use in going to others. Because they can't protect. When you have abandoned, who else can protect? Tvai rakshati rakshakaihi kimanyaihi. Tvai cha arakshati rakshakaihi kimanyaihi. One word he uses so judiciously. That is Narasimha Avataram. Today we got to experience Krishna as Narasimha Tomorrow is the Madhyama Bhagam. See, when you wear a chain, there is a pendant. It is that which comes in the center, and that is the highlight of your chain. It is called Padakkam in Tamil. Beautiful. Similarly, day 1, day 2, day 3, this side. Day 5, day 6, day 7, the other side. Day 4 is the central stone. So tomorrow we will get to see the momentous occasion when Krishna is born. Dashama Skandam will begin, before which we have to deal with Matsya Avataram, Kurma Avataram, Vamana Avataram, and then Krishna Jananam will come. If Krishna is born tomorrow, day 5, day 6, day 7, fully Krishna. That's all. We have to forget all these avatars fully. When we get engrossed in Krishna, Krishne Bhakti Prajayate. See, a great poet come Acharya was Sadashiva Brahmendra. He lived about 500 years back. He was an Advaiti. For him, formless, Nirguna Brahmam was important. Sarvam Brahmamayam Re Re Sarvam Brahmamayam. One journalist went and interviewed him. Nation wants to know. Sadashivji, I want to know. When you close your eyes, who comes to your mind first? In market research, we call TOM approach, top of the mind recall. Who comes to your mind? He said, Brahma aata hai. No. Tell me, nation wants to know. That is when Sadashiva said, see, I will reveal to you, journalist, whenever I close my eyes, there is one boy whose countenance is as beautiful as the full moon, whose eyes are akin to the petals of a newly blossomed lotus, whose nose has a beautiful septum which has got a white pearl that comes in with a front ground of coral-laden lips. When he smiles, it looks as if the stars from the constellation were fitted in the upper and the lower jaw. His curly locks of hair are effervescent and glistening with those curls, and they jump as he moves. Those hair tresses are bound together with a beautiful string of pearls, and in that is fitted the beautiful multi-hued peacock feather. And as he plays the flute, he steals my heart. Madashikhi pincha alankrita chikure mahaniyaka pola vijita mukure manasa sancharare Brahmani manasa sancharare. My mind goes behind that boy who has those peacock feathers. Whatever we say, Krishna Bhakti Prajayate, the highest form of bhakti is Krishna Bhakti. Wherever you see, there is only Krishna. Unnum shorum parugum neer thinnum vettilayum ellam kannan, says Alvar. That Krishna Bhakti will begin from Krishna Jananam tomorrow. So I'm sure many of you are working professionals, you are parents, you have so many duties to do. But Bhagavata Saptaham that Annamalai ji has organized under the guidance of our Guru Padmanabha Sharma is a moment for all of us to cherish. See, all the priests who have come from Bharata Desham, they would have done at least 500 Saptahams. 500 times they would have recited these 18,000 shlokas. I have done at least, to my memory, I don't have a count, at least 100 to 150 Saptahams I would have done. I don't have an exact count. But every time people will always ask in interviews to me, podcasts. Now we know how podcasters work. But so they will ask a question. Sir, every time you reveal, isn't it boring? Because generally we say, right, monotonous job. Trust me, I'm telling it out of full sincerity. Every time this fourth day is going to come, Krishna Jananam is going to come, I will wait for that moment. Though I know what I'm going to say, that moment when I visualize Krishna as being born, it is a new experience for me. So I wish all of you in Frankfurt should have the equal joy of listening to Krishna Jananam. So be a part of our discourse circuit tomorrow as well. கவிதார்க்கிக சிம்ஹாய கல்யாண குணசாலினே ஸ்ரீமதே வெங்கடேஷாய வேதாந்த குரவே நமः. கல்யாண ரூபாய கலௌ ஜனானாம் கல்யாணதாத்ரே கருணா சுதாப்தே கம்வாதி திவ்யாயுத சத்கராய வாதாலயாதீஷ நமோ நமஸ்தே. நாராயண 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 அனந்தராமாக்கிய மகிப்ரணீதம் ஸ்தோத்ரம் படேத்யஸ்து நரஸ்திரிகாலம் வாதாலயேதஸ்ச கிருபாஃபலேன லபேத சர்வாணி ச மங்களானி. நாராயண நாராயண நாராயண
Krishna 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 Krishna